All right, the next thing we talked about was our centers of triangles. Remember, this is where we had the rap. People be crazy, a bit insane, me and 50 Cent, all too vain. So that helped you remember what created those centers. So for people be crazy, the perpendicular bisectors create the circumcenter. A bit insane, told you that the angle bisectors created the incenter. Me and 50 Cent, told you the medians create the centroid. All too vain, so the altitudes create the orthocenter. And these are just some more facts that you might need to know. So it tells you where they're located, and it also tells you just an interesting fact. Remember, the circumcenter was the center of the circle around the outside of the triangle. So basically all three of these radii would be the same length. Same thing for the incenter. That was the circle inside, so all of the radii are the same length. And then this one, this is a median rule, I guess. The long part is twice the short part. So remember, we divided it into 3 equal sections and figured it out that way. All right, so a ton of information on that slide, but now let's go ahead and try to solve a couple problems that apply to those. Okay, so the first I can statement is I can find the coordinates of the circumcenter of the triangle. All right, so to start off with, when we see circumcenter, I would go back to my rap, people be crazy, and I would make myself a note that I need to find the perpendicular bisectors. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and graph it. Y'all know I love to graph everything. So I'm going to plot my points at 0, 1, 2, 1, and 2, 5. So I get this pretty little triangle here. And I need to start graphing the perpendicular bisectors to figure out where the circumcenter is. So for me, I'm going to start off with this side. First of all, bisector means it cuts it in half. Since this total length is 2 units, I want to cut it in half and go over 1 unit. And then I need to draw the perpendicular line. Well, since this is a horizontal line, the perpendicular line would be a vertical line. So that is the perpendicular bisector to the purple side. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick another side. I'm going to pick this side because it follows the grid, so it makes my life a little bit easier. First, I want to figure out where that midpoint is to figure out what cuts it in half. So it's 4 units total, which means that my bisector would have to go through halfway, which would be 2 units. And then it has to be perpendicular, and since it's a vertical line, the horizontal line would be perpendicular to it. So far I've only drawn 2 perpendicular bisectors. You could find the perpendicular bisector to that third side, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult mathematically. And all of them are going to intersect in the same spot. So as long as you get at least 2, you know where they're all 3 going to intersect at. So I would stop right there, and I would say that let me get back to my colors, my circumcenter is going to be located right there at 1, 3. All right, let's do one more from these triangle centers. The next I can statement says, I can use the rules of medians to find the missing length. Well, if we go back and think about our rules of medians, remember, it divides it into 3 equal parts. The short part is 1 of them, and the longer part is 2 of them. So, look at this triangle. It says CH, let me highlight that. This whole length here is 33. And I know that it's a median because if you look at my markings, it cuts that into 2 equal pieces. So that has to be the midpoint, and the midpoint is connected to the opposite vertex, which is the definition of a median. So because I know it's a median, I know that it's going to cut it into 3 equal places. Remember, the short segment is going to be 1, and then the longer segment we're going to divide into 2. So those are our 3 equal sections. Since the total was 33, I like to divide that by 3 to figure out what each of my sections are going to equal. So each of these would be 11 units. Now let me go over here and color code what I'm actually looking for. I'm actually looking for the length of CX. So I need to take that 11 and I need to add it twice. I need to do 11 plus 11 to get the total length of that line. So the length of CX is going to be 22 units.